Yo, what is up, boy games out there? The name is Second Heat, bringing you guys a quick little video on Need for Speed 2015. Now, for those guys that are unaware, within just a couple days, we will be getting the announcement on the next Need for Speed and seeing on the leagues, seeing on the progression the company has been going. It seems to be like we're going to be getting an underground style game. Now, we're not sure if it's actually going to be Underground 3 or if it's just going to be something underground related, pretty much the illegal street racing scene that we all knew and loved. And what I want to just do a little talk about today is a couple wishes that I hope that we will be getting within this next game because I actually do have high hopes for this. In fact, I really do think that this will be the game where I will be playing Need for Speed once again. So, some of the things that I really do hope we get, one has to deal with something related to its old Need for Speeds and what we're getting now with like the crew, and that is being able to actually modify or I guess purchase then modify these low end cars such as your Civics, your Z's, your eclipses, skylines, and stuff like that. Being able to mod them up to be, well, first one, visually modding it to your liking, so it actually makes the game feel a lot more interesting. It doesn't make the game feel dull because one of the things I hated about the new Need for Speeds was that everyone pretty much drove the same car. There may have been different style supercars, but I just didn't like the fact that you couldn't do anything to it to make yourself stand out. And that's something that I liked about the crew was that they were able to bring that back. Yes, we've seen it in the Forza Horizon games, but since I was in Xbox, I don't own an Xbox. I own PlayStation. So when the crew came out, I was very happy to be able to have customization come back in the game. And something else I liked was that hopefully in Need for Speed is that we can be able to upgrade these low end cars and make them be able to compete against supercars like the Porsches, the Ferraris, the Lamborghinis, and such like that. And looking at leaked the leaked image that we saw on their Facebook page, it does seem that we're going to be able to have that ability because we did see a picture of what seemed to be a BRZ or FRS drifting side by side with a Porsche. And as we all know, the Porsche and the FRS or BRZ stock do not compete against one another. The Porsche can easily outmatch the BRZ. So seeing how these two were able to, in a way, go side by side next to each other, I do so believe that we will be having this feature of being able to tune up your car to make it be able to compete against supercars. And seeing how there's also some slight visual modifications, I do so believe that we'll be getting that too. Now, something else that I really hope that we get is a great story mode. Something like the Most Wanted, something like Carbon, even Underground itself, I felt had quite a good story mode, even though it wasn't as story modish as the previous two that I just mentioned. I felt like it was still decently good because it was pretty much a no-name driver making a name for himself. He made a name for himself. He got sponsorships and everything. It just felt really good. It really made you feel like you were creating your own story. Whereas in, say, Most Wanted and Carbon, you were kind of living the story of an already made character. So if they like either way they go, if they decide to go the Most Wanted Carbon style, maybe bring back the character, that would be nice. Or if they go underground style where you're pretty much creating your own name, where you're making a name for your own self, I think that too will be amazing. Something else that I hope for is a great map. Okay, I do not expect anything to be like the crew where it's pretty much scaled to the entire US. Okay, I don't think the people over working on Need for Speed, I don't think they'll be able to come up with that. I don't think they'll be able to do something like that. However, I do hope that they make a decently scaled map, and I hope it's a combination of the city and pretty much the outskirts of it. Kind of like let's say Carbon for example. Carbon had pretty much, I believe it was four different regions, and they had kind of outside highway areas, including canyons, which sadly you could only drive around through missions. But just having something like that, I felt like that was pretty fun because each city you can tell the difference between each one of them. You can tell that you're in a certain area in comparison to the other, and that's something I really did enjoy. Something that actually the crew had as well, where you can tell when you're in New York, where you can tell when you're in Chicago, California, Miami. They all had its own unique style look to it, and I really do hope that the next Need for Speed, I really do hope that they bring that in to their next game because I do so believe that it caters to both the street, I don't want to say the street racing community, the low end car scene and the supercar scene. The low end car scenes are mainly known for their city races, whereas the supercars are known for their outskirt areas where they can actually hit their top speed, where they don't have to worry about drifting around corners and all this traffic going on. I really do hope they do that because it caters to both sides. Now, speaking of drifting, the game modes I really do hope come back. Mainly, I'm going off of Underground because I feel like Underground did this the best, along with Pro Street as well. Although Pro Street was kind of more of a legal racing, it was more of a these were set events, whereas the Underground series was more illegal street racing. So both of these they had their unique features. I loved the game modes they have, how they had their usual circuit races, their point A to point B, aka their sprint races. I liked how they have drag races, which I really hope they bring back. Those were very fun. But something else I really hope they bring back is drifting events. I felt like drifting events was something very, very fun in the Need for Speed series, although Carbon's drifting series was kind of shitty. I didn't like the way how they made it that easy to drift, but something like Pro Street or something like Underground, I felt like they did theirs very, very well, and I hope they do bring it back. However, I hope they take however, I can't talk. However, I hope they put a little twist into it where it's kind of now like Tokyo Drift style. For those guys who have never watched the movie, their sole focus in racing was the drift scene, and they had different areas of where they drifted. They drifted in the canyon, they drifted in they drifted in parking lot areas, which looked pretty cool, and I hope they bring that into Need for Speed. And then they even had some scenes where they drifted in the city, and that's something that I really, really want to see. I think city drifting would just be pretty fun, and that's something that I love doing in the crew actually, which you guys have seen a lot of videos on, where I'm pretty much going into the icy city and just drifting my car around, and it's very fun because it can be pretty unpredictable with traffic going on. Now, I'm not saying put traffic in your drifting events, but just drifting in the city itself, it just feels really fun. I don't know, it's just hard to explain, but it's just something about drifting in public areas that just makes it feel that much better in comparison to drifting on private property or an excluded area. So I hope they bring back drifting, whichever style they do it. I don't mind. I just hope that they don't take the carbon route where they make it too easy to drift. When in their events, I felt that was pretty bad. It really did take the fun out of it. So if they make it to where the mechanics of the drifting do still exist, then Please, thank you. That will be great. Now, speaking of the mechanics, I do hope they go back to legit mechanics and not the modern day Need for Speed mechanics to where all you have to do is just tap your brake and you're instantly going sideways. I really hate that mechanic. I think that is so stupid, and it does take the skill gap out of things because if anyone can do it, then it takes the impressiveness out of the game. And we see this in, say, Forza Horizon, where the drifting community is huge. And one of the things about it is they make it skill worthy. They make it to where you actually have to put some time into it to get good at your drifting. And I really, really do like that. And I really hope that they put that in to the next Need for Speed. And something else I hope that happens is the drifting community increases. You know, I really do love watching all these drifting videos going on in the Forza Horizon or the Forza games, period, because it's just that impressive. It really does make the game last longer, especially when you're drifting with buds. I feel like the community as a whole, I feel like it's something that can actually really boost up a game's popularity. Because think about it, after you're done with campaign, what else do you do in a racing game? You know, it's something that slowly happened to me with the crew. After I beat the campaign, I didn't know what else to do, and then I started drifting and stuff. And now almost every day, I just hop on, going to the city, going to Salt Lake City, and just drift around for a couple hours, really. And it's actually really, really fun, especially when you meet up with others, with other random people, and you just start following each other, just start going through tandems, and it's amazing. I really love it, which is something that I really do hope comes to the Need for Speed franchise, is that we are able to actually drift with skill and things are made fun. That's something big that needs to happen in the Need for Speed series or in Need for Speed 2015 is that it needs to be fun. Please. If you make the game fun, the game will definitely last. If you put some bullshit stuff in it, like Rivals Pursuit Tech, which is one of the things that really turned me away from the game because it makes no sense, take it away, everybody will be happy. You make the racing mechanics legit and not easy hit the brakes to drift, everybody will be happy. You put customization in the game to make it fun, everybody will be happy. That's the thing EA needs to focus on. And that's something that it seems like they have been focusing on is getting feedback from the audience, from the community, seeing what makes them happy. So that way their next game will definitely make people happy. Because ever since Undercover was done with, the sales have been dramatically dropping like crazy. Why? Because they decided to go their own route and make the game boring, irritating, dull, and make people not feel so happy. Happiness equals success. I think EA's finally figured that out. Microtransactions is not what's going to keep your game alive. Even though modern day, that's all that exists. So, yeah. I might kind of cut off there for a second, so if that sounded like a weird transition, I'm sorry. So, yeah. EA, this year I actually have faith in your next game. Please do not disappoint us, because we will definitely be hella pissed. We don't like it. We don't like being disappointed. We don't like being hyped up for games, then wasting $60 just to find out that the game is a disappointment. So far, from what we've seen, you've been listening to us. You've been listening to us for the past year, trying to make this next Need for Speed the best it can possibly be. I have faith in you guys. Please, make this game actually worth it. Because if you do, you will be seeing yourselves increase to the highest extent of life. You will finally go back to the sales you used to have in your prime time when Need for Speed was once good. Well, let me know what you guys think about the next Need for Speed. What do you guys want to see? Hopefully, come May 21st, which is in just a couple days, we will be seeing the reveal trailer of the next Need for Speed. I have high hopes. I hope it's Underground 3 or an Underground related game. Fingers crossed. Until next time, this has been your boy Taking Heat, and I am out. Peace.